Now it's time for the Q&A. Because Nintendo games are banned. Genesis only GDQ. It'll just be awful games done quick. All the time. Yeah, I mean, games are always a tricky subject when it comes to the marathons because you want to have some community games. You want to have some games that, as someone bluntly put it, it puts asses in seats, like, you know, Super Mario World and stuff like that. You know, that'll do well in donations. And you want a little something for everybody. But yeah. Hmm. I will learn Red Zone for Genesis only GDQ. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. If they're questions about like your specific game, then I might not answer it. Is Kira coming to HDQ? I have no clue. He falls off the map and then like will reappear months later. So I have no clue. I remember when it came to like Sonic 2 and him learning it, like I told him he was off the schedule for it, and this was like, and then like weeks after the fact, he was like, "Oh, sorry, I was so busy. I didn't have time to practice anything or anything like that." So I don't know. I'm a fraud, Spagok. I'm a fraud. Annihilator, La Mulana is definitely one of them. Honestly, if Rom didn't accept Metal Wolf Chaos, I would have put in for HDQ because damn, I love that game. Games that did better than I expected. Metal Wolf Chaos, even though I would have wanted that, did better than I expected. Aside from that, not really. Genuine thoughts on Shovel Knight. It's a fun game. I played through it once. I need to see what a speedrun's like. What's the possibility of an RTS HDQ? I already said. You know what? If there was some speedrunning content, if there was one bit of speedrunning content as bonus stream at, I think a bingo race would actually be pretty cool. If it was, if we were to have one bit of speedrunning content, because that would actually be something unique and something that you wouldn't really see on the mainstream. Because I don't really know how I feel about bingo on the mainstream. First off, you have to make a layout specifically for it. That was one thing about ESA, is that I think it was cool that they were more experimental with games and stuff, but at the same time, like the Vice City bingo did not work out because you didn't know what the bingo was. And if you don't know what the bingo was, then what's the point of it? It just seems like a lot of random driving around then. Mike Fairfax or Loudon. What's up with this? Okay, you obviously live in the area of Virtual Point. That's if you're complaining about BWI. And so about Final Fantasy XII, it is not something I would consider because it is very long, lacking in donation incentives, and it is one of the most hated Final Fantasy games. Or I guess I should say mixed reactions. Binding of Isaac, I don't think really has a great chance. Maybe the new console version when it comes out. Not the same hotel as 2014. It's just too small. It was perfect in every other way, but it's just too small. And if I had an attendance cap for that size, that would cause a lot of other problems. So we're going to have to expand. Unfortunately, I don't think the hotel that we'll be staying at will have a shuttle as convenient as the Crown, or it won't have food options as convenient as the Crown. Although they do have shuttles to offset this somewhat. That's true, Piox. GTA is always a lot of random driving around. Also, totally off topic, Piox. Do you still play Hawken? Because I used to play that. And I don't play it much anymore, but I would play it if I had someone to play it with. I have no problem with someone doing back-to-back games as long as they're not super long. Gus Mancini. Yes, Stamp Cat. Old people like you do get to check it out as long as you pay the attendance fee. Dirkman, about the hotel being decided, it'll probably be decided. I'm gonna visit the last hotel this Thursday. I'll probably make a decision, probably not by Friday, but the week after. I want to make a decision before I go to PAX. You don't play hockey anymore? Yeah, neither do I. It's kind of stagnated, to be honest. Secret of Mana having another chance of getting in. Not so soon? Maybe? I could see getting another one in, but not for a while. That's the thing about RPGs. They need to have longer cooldown because of their nature. They're longer. They get more mixed reactions from people, because even though there are a lot of people who like RPGs, there are a lot of people who don't like RPGs. And you can say that about any game, but it's more so with RPGs than any other genre. Maybe Virtual Boy Ness. Well, the hotel rooms have fridges. I have to check out the Hunt Valley Inn. The most likely hotel, if we stay in the the Dulles area, Sterling and those whereabouts, then yes, the Hilton would have fridges. The Sheraton does not, but I'm not too sure about the Sheraton. The biggest advantage of the Sheraton is that the guy knows. He's helped with anime cons before, so he knows how nerds work. AKA, they are cheap. They are really goddamn loud and whiny. They are the loudest and they are some of the loudest and whiniest people. Rambling Josh. The only change that I might really make is try to make sure the hosts know the games, but aside from that, I feel like host selection worked really well at SGDQ. Damn, Voligen, harsh words. Yeah, I know a lot of people also bitch about 3D Zeldas. Yeah, Josh has it. The issue is more with long games, period. Which is why the entire marathon should be NES and Master System games. No. I know Spike asked a question a while ago, and I can't even remember what it is, and he's not around anymore, unfortunately. And I know Uber Goose asked me some questions, and he's not around anymore. So I'd have to look through my... I don't really have chat logs, because I'm... there's obviously Twitch right here. Yeah, on Two Planks. I think there's a lot of problems with second stream. First off, it splits up tech. And we're finally getting to the point where we have enough people for one stream for a marathon. I have no clue, Virtual Boy Ness. I think it will. It should. And the other thing is that there's always going to be a B stream, whether it's the second stream or the first stream, if they both have speedrunning content, because the stream with Cosmo on it is likely going to be the A stream. Yeah. What's my impressive? I think you mean unimpressive Quack saves, Albino Albatross. PC games are destroying everything because Quack saves are the worst. Yes, I mean the biggest problem with that is that I didn't have enough time to coordinate, and then Murph didn't have enough time to coordinate, and yes, we will definitely have better coordination for that. Yeah, if you want to help with that, then I'd definitely be open for that. Yeah, but we can talk about that. I think you do a good job of coordinating the donation station. Yeah, he was definitely one of the MVPs of AGDQ. But yeah, I think Josh made a good point yesterday about panels and stuff and the like, and how we have an event running 24/7 and panels and second stream and stuff and the like. is more for conventions and events where there's not a whole lot going on otherwise. But we always have an event going on 24/7. And I mostly agree with that. I could see having a panel or two about speedrunning, but it definitely wouldn't be the main emphasis of the event. Yeah, sure. I'd be down with that, because the tech and donation station was one place where we dropped the ball for SGDQ. I will admit to that. We just didn't have enough time, and we didn't delegate it well enough. The hosting worked out just fine, but yeah. Any other questions? Oh, hey Ray, what's up? Nice to see you in here. Hopefully I didn't bore you with all my rambling. The plan with GDQ Monitor, I think this was mentioned in the feedback thread in RomScout's first post, but the plan is that for most of the marathon it will not be there. Especially since Cool Maddie would rather just spend time focusing on other stuff rather than thinking of something for GDQ Monitor. And it'll be in there mostly during the last day, if anything. Oh yeah, I'm glad it's been interesting. Yeah, I should do a stream about CGDQ because that's a pretty interesting story. Will there be a bonus stream for 2015? Yes, there will, but it'll be different. As I said before, it's not sustainable to do bonus stream as is, because it's just the same amount of time, but more and more people want to run their game, which is natural. And even if I said, well, that's not what bonus stream is about, that's not really going to do much of anything. So it's going to be is that it's going to be scheduled, but it's going to be mostly not speedrunning content, like more casual stuff, like Fighting Masters finals, Smash finals. Maybe Mario Party, stuff like that, like party games. More cooldown, less serious. I could see a bingo race working too, so that's why I said mostly not speedrunning stuff. But just so that there's something different from the main marathon, and I just make it 24 hours, and then once it's done, and then we strike down after that. How many plushies are we gonna have to burn this year? I don't know. Fortunately, there weren't that many plushies at SGDQ. There was only that alpaca, and while I was kind of bad about enforcing that was eventually enforced, and then it got off. Hyper fighting finals, I'd be down for that. Zost is a beast at hyper fighting. He has good footsies. And Caveman DCJ, there's always hot games, especially if you bring the floating runner. And I'm glad that you... Yeah, exactly, Cigar. Organized bonus stream. Yeah, I'm glad that people like these streams. I should probably have these streams more often. It's not often that I'm in the mood for it. I also had to kind of take a bit of a break after SGDQ. Not as much as one for HDQ because that really burned me out hard, super hard. But I definitely had to take a couple weeks. Mikey, if this is what we this is what I've talked about with PCF. If the hotel is near food, then we probably won't bother with catered lunches. If it's not really close to food, then we will probably do catered lunches. The problem is, what I'll say to prevent cancer is that, look, you really need to enforce this, because we can't. Because the reason... that's actually something I forgot to mention, is that the catered lunches worked better at SGDQ than AGDQ, because it was the same amount of food, but less people. But getting more food for more people, it gets more and more expensive. And while, yes, we did raise... And it also becomes a bigger mess and harder to enforce, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Shadow Jackie, the attendance fee is expected to go down. If the conference rooms are paid for, which they likely will be, and if they aren't, I could probably still swing it, or even as long as they mostly are. The attendance fee for multiple days will likely be $50 and $60 if you're late. And by late, I mean 2 weeks before the event, or don't pay until during the event. Oh yeah, A-player Diablo 2 could be fun on bonus stream. And hyper fighting is definitely an underrated Street Fighter 2. What is my favorite type of salt? I do like salt and vinegar chips, and sea salt is pretty cool too, and Jane's Crazy Salt. And if you're going for a rub, Lori's seasoned salt is good, especially on beef and steak and the like. Yeah, that's the thing, Bob. Are getting hard. At SGDQ, it really worked out well. Like, I remember just doing some enforcement the first day, and then I stopped bothering because most people were pretty cool about getting their sandwiches. In fact, we had too many sandwiches the first day. So when Whitwicks told me that he and Broman were kind of drunk, and they took like 15 sandwiches, I was okay with that because we had like 50 plus sandwiches left because we over ordered for the first day. Yeah. But yeah, I remember the only enforcement story that I have at SGDQ is that since I was doing it for the first day, I saw a guy who I was pretty sure had a sandwich beforehand, and so like he was gonna go for another sandwich, and I was like, hey, have you had a sandwich? Haven't you had a sandwich yet? No, it wasn't anything like, it wasn't like accusatory. It was just like, did you already have a sandwich? Something like that. And he was like, no, I didn't. And also, they're not very good. And then he went away. And we were like, right. We did not have the everlasting potato salad at SGDQ. It's so funny to predict, like, what's going to be popular, because vegetables, ew. Meat, yay. Missy, yeah. I was thinking about getting more Chromebooks. How many do you think we'll need since you are at the donation station? I think 5 or 6 would be good. I won't say who. If I told you the guy's name, you wouldn't even know who he is. Yeah, exactly, Caveman. Stop making me eat all these sandwiches I don't like. I will totally be rock band singing, or I'll just be going to karaoke at AGDQ. If we're in the Dulles area, I will try to plan some karaoke like we did at SGDQ, because that was way fun. Although for AGDQ, there were definitely some days when there were plenty of food, and then other days when like it vanished within an hour. It was really inconsistent. I agree with that, Dana. That was actually the original plan, but then the fridge that I had was not suitable at all. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. We can definitely get a couple more Chromebooks. It's not difficult. That definitely made things better for SGDQ, is just not having to borrow people's laptops. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. Yeah, food, yeah, that's true. Food did vanish quickly on Pizza Day at SGDQ, except for the vegetable pizza. I knew after I did karaoke, I won't lie, I was a little drunk. I had some pizza. I knew there would be some vegetable pizza left, because nerds hate vegetable pizza. How much workforce do you think you'd need for AGDQ? Well, in terms of, like, paid contracted staff, there's going to be 10, I think. 10 or 11. I'm trying to remember. We're going to have Lindsay doing the banners, but she's not going to be doing the graphic design anymore. We have a Chris Hannell doing, like, graphic design and stream layouts. Cole Maddie's obviously going to do all the website stuff, but Gilder's going to do the videos instead. Exactly, Josh. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with veggie pizza. It's good pizza. That is one thing I forgot to say about my SGDQ recap. Karaoke was mad fun. Yes, it does need to have HDMI out. Or some way of converting it. Like, I think, actually, we do have DisplayPort to HDMI converters. Yeah. And so, but in terms of volunteer staff, I mean, we'll definitely need some volunteer staff, too, because people helping out with some of the coordination, like the donation station, would be much appreciated. Tech. And just people doing general rules enforcement, that's harder to find, but I know of a couple people who offered. Oh, yeah. Not a ton of the options are vegetarian friendly. Nomad Har. To be perfectly honest. And actually, that goes back to my point. Since I did mention UA earlier, and I didn't go back to it. So, yeah, I mentioned that he hasn't really claimed his hours before. And what I also forgot to mention is that that's one of the reasons why I slashed his hours by 2/3 for this AGDQ. The other reason was that he did, as you noticed from what I said, he dropped the ball for SGDQ. Fiery Blizzard, we do have a working 1080p capture card for PCs. Well, the cutoff is going to be September 3rd, because that's when I get back from PAX. I mean, I was going to make it earlier, but there's kind of no point in cutting it off when I'm not even going to be able to, like, actually look at submissions when I'm at PAX. I mean, I could in theory, but I'll be doing other stuff. Yeah, you're actually not capturing the audio via the capture card. We're doing it through the mixer. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that offer, Missy. And same with Bob, because I know the two of you basically camped out on the donation station. Alright. Cool. You're a considerate guy, Nomad Har. But yes, we do have capture cards that can handle 1080p Fiery Blizzard, and we're not using scalers, because even though we could use scalers, they add an extra step. They add an extra step of setup to the process, and they do make things more complicated. I mean, if you don't have to touch them, great, but when you do have to touch them, they're kind of annoying to work with. I'm okay with messing around with it, but not a lot of people are, even if we did have an English language guide, just because it's a Japanese product. I do hear that there is actually firmware where there's where it's actually where the menu and stuff is actually in English. That power situation was a code violation. It probably was. Oh yeah, you're an electrician, so you would know, Zost. Yeah. What's supposed to be used for repair, maintenance, and other specific purposes? Oh, you mean the power station. You mean the hotel's actual power, not what we did. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, Dana, I'm definitely down, and I would trust you with it. The problem is not finding people who offer it up. It's finding people who are trustworthy enough, and I think you'd be trustworthy enough. Um, Well, there are certain games that require resets to progress, like that awful Genesis X-Men game. Um, but if it's resetting because you don't get good enough luck to even complete the game, then that's probably not a marathon-worthy game in the first place. Really, Zost? I didn't know that. That is the least shocking thing, because I'm pretty sure the hotel does a million illegal things. Oh, and speaking of that, one thing I forgot to mention is that because we didn't have that much space in the hotel, and this isn't going to be as much of a concern for HDQ because of the date and because of how much space we'll be taking up, um, there are a lot of other groups at the hotel, and they were loud. They were real loud. I'm sure you heard them on the stream loud. There was no way you couldn't hear them on the stream loud. And there's no amount of audio mixing that could have really drowned out that sound. And yeah, the hotel didn't really care about us. Huh. I didn't know about that, Sos, but that kind of makes sense with the hotel. Will there be more than one T-shirt design? Probably not, but I can see. Pyramid Scheme people for the win, exactly. But yeah, there was along with those Pyramid Scheme people. I think this was another Pyramid Scheme, but I wasn't 100% sure. But there was this marketing convention going on, and they also had super loud music. And I remember the one person who played it up well was Goknak during his Half-Life 2 run. And I was glad to have hosted for that run. Even though I was probably the last person who should have hosted, because I don't really know anything about Half-Life 2. But it was super hype. It was a really great watch. And the only reason why I was there in the first place was actually to replace Studio, because he was really sick. Although Goknak said that he was glad that I hosted for him, so that was cool. Ooh, it probably was unsafe. Honestly, one of those plugs was so old that because they had their own surge protectors, and the surge protector that was plugged into, it was a 3-prong outlet. So like the bottom prong actually broke off into the outlet, so you could only power so you could only power it with that specific surge protector, because it broke off in there. That's how ghetto some of the shit in the hotel was. See, I wouldn't care about that, Zos, because I just want to be done with that hotel. There's no real reason to pursue them or anything anymore. We're just done with them. Will I run a game or two at HDQ? I said this before, but no, I am not. I'll just be too busy running the event to do anything, and it'll just be really stressful. For HDQ, I'll work on some stuff, but not for HDQ. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually something I really would have liked to know. No, just so we could, because that's actually something we could have potentially brought up with them when it came to the power drops and paying for them. It's like, we won't tell you that your stuff isn't up to code as long as if you don't make us pay for this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it worked back in 2011, 2012 or so, but no, it doesn't work. Exactly. But yeah, there were days back then when people ran like 10 plus games. And it was less a filler thing and just more like putting in stuff for the marathon thing. I don't know. I wouldn't even say it was filler more than just, this is what we had to offer in the community. 25% of the games. Yeah, no more of that. Yeah, it's funny because when you look at the older marathons, like, even the great runs back then, like, look so bad compared to today's standards. One of the runs that has aged well is the 2011 Pokemon Yellow run, just for the commentary and for the big troll. But yeah, definitely some of the older marathons did need some filler, but some of it was just the community needs at the time. Because I remember AGDQ 2011, I remember considering every single person who was there so that if they wanted to run a game, they could run a game. Thank you, Molotov. I do like 25 inches of games. Yes, PS1 games would have some of the biggest game density. Legendary Secret of Mana run. Yep. Yeah, Chess Jerk. It's pretty great. So, so yeah, are there any other questions? Or are we just gonna go over Pokemon Yellow quotes? Or me drinking hot sauce during Secret of Mana. Wow, this chat delay. It is intense. But yeah, I'll probably do another one of these streams. There is nothing wrong with more Pokemon Yellow quotes. Oh, you've seen it? Stinger? Yeah. I remember being so tired during that run. And yeah, I was so tired that I thought drinking hot sauce would be a good idea, waking me up. Oh, it woke me up, but it didn't wake me up in the right way. Best Final Fantasy? I remember when that used to be a thing that bothered people. Now it's just not even a thing anymore. How much does Killer Worm Scout drink during HDQ? A dangerous amount that might kill him. Whatever lets him gain to the old school donation tracking for the finale. So, for those of you who don't know, the tracker for the first marathon, Class Games Done Quick, was a sheet of paper. I had it framed somewhere. I don't know if I still had it, but I do have it scanned, and I know I have it lying around on my Dropbox somewhere. It is still going. But yeah, it was fun. I should do one of these streams more often. I might do one in a month or two, maybe after the game submissions. But it was a fun stream. Thank you everyone for coming out. I know it was really last minute, but I think it was better that way, so it was more low key. And maybe during that stream I'll go over CGDQ, because that was a pretty interesting marathon, especially looking back on it. There was definitely work involved in it, a lot of work involved in it, but it's just so funny looking at it now because it seems so quaint. Alright. Well, thanks y'all for watching. I might stream some Subterranea later tonight, who knows, but I actually have to do some testing for the game submissions to make sure it works and it works out well for us. And I did a Sunset Riders run yesterday, Gold Snake, so you can see it there. And thanks everyone who watched, and take it easy, and Uyama out.